Greetings Exiles and welcome to another build guide in my build guide compilation type of thing. This time it's going to be the Lightning Trap Saboteur for 3.8 Legion Light. Not Legion, Legion was last league, Light League. So we are expecting some big nerfs or at least some changes to traps and mines. So this is pretty much 100% going to work in the upcoming league. But let's have a closer look. What I like to go over first is why should you actually play this build. First of all, this is one of the best map clearing builds that I've ever played, because you throw down a few of your traps, they will pierce over the whole freaking screen and kill literally anything, and then you just move on. So yeah, throw down traps, clear the whole screen, move on. Easy. You have a respectable single target damage with this build. It is not that good against fast bosses, because fast bosses will run out of your what is it called, lightning spiral trap area of effect, but for the most times your single target is way more than enough and way more than you actually need for any content in the game. You got a lot of pseudo toughness in this build. So the thing I noticed is, if you're greedy like me and you walk up to a boss like close range, you can get killed like extremely quickly, because you're relying on quite a good life pool, I have to say. Life is not that bad on this build, but the rest is on evasion. So sometimes you feel like super tanky because you're evading everything, you're dodging everything, and then sometimes you're just getting hit by 3 things and you're dead. So definitely take a look there that you do not kind of like face tank everything, because if you take damage once, that's totally fine. If you take damage twice, that's still fine, because your Tinker Skin grants you a lot of regen. Late game upgradability, extremely much. So you can go for dual wielding, shaped scepters, something like that. You can upgrade your whole gear in whatever way you want. This skill is not that easy to play in my opinion, because yeah, you might think that you killed everything, but then there's like one rare that you can't really see below your 20,000 like lightning trap procs, and that's just going to kill you. So you have to keep an eye out for this one. Also, what's not that really easy for my kind of build is I'm using Smite as a damage buff and to keep up my Fortify. So without Fortify you actually feel quite squishy against hits. Leveling speed on this character is great. It's one of the fastest builds I have ever played for leveling. It is super easy. You don't need a lot of links early on, because you're going to use your lightning spire traps anyways for single targets, so you can focus on AoE for a lightning trap. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the overall things. Let's go over the ascendancy real quick. So what you want to pick up first is Perfect Crime. This is just AoE, like additional traps or additional triggers for your mines. And the most important thing is we are taking this one first, because we want to reach chain reaction as quickly as possible. What chain reaction does is you have like 5 traps on the left side, 5 traps on the right hand side, and then there's like 1 trap in the middle that's actually getting triggered. If the 1 trap in the middle gets triggered, everything else gets triggered, and it will set up a huge AoE explosion from the lightning traps. So chain reaction definitely feels nice. It doesn't feel really good to play this skill without it, but you know, it still works. After that you can decide between Born in the Shadows or Pyromaniac. I would say you should go for Pyromaniac. It's a more defensive skill. It lets you throw more traps, because these traps actually have a really high mana cost because you're just spamming them. So that definitely helps out with your regen and your mana. Last but not least, Born in the Shadows. So as I said, you can swap Pyromanic and Born in the Shadows however you want. This actually makes us blind enemies, and blinded enemies have 50% less chance to hit you, which actually means you get like 50% more chance to evade, like kind of like that, you know. It also does that we are going to deal a little bit more damage against blinded enemies, but that's not a big deal. That's not really a big deal. As I said earlier, we have quite a hefty mana cost. This is why we're going to run Eldritch Battery. That means that we are not spending mana, we are going to spend Energy Shield for our skills. This lets us reserve all our mana. We are going to use Head of Thunder, Wrath and Flesh and Stone. Once you can pick up an Enlighten level 2 or higher, you can also suck it in a Precision somewhere until you reach like close to 0 mana. What we are going to use for single target is a Lightning Spire Trap. Pretty damn OP. Lightning Spire base damage is super high and will shred literally any boss in the game if you can hit it. As I said, if you have a fast boss, he maybe run away. For uniques, we are going to use Doriana's Catalyst. This is just a relatively cheap starter weapon. We get a lot of cast speed and attack speed. Attack speed feels good if you want to proc Smite, so attack speed is nice here, it's definitely not a wasted skill. Cast speed is not that important, it's important for our, what's it called, Flame Dash. But the more important thing is increased elemental and increased global critical strike chance. These two stats are super high for a starter weapon, so you should focus on these two. Other than that, Tinkerskin, a lot of regen, cooldown recovery, a lot of evasion and energy shield, and also live roll. Pretty much the best thing you can go for as a trapper. Flasks are pretty much straightforward. We are going to use a diamond flask for the better crit, Quicksilver to be quicker, a silver flask for onslaught, and then the wise oak. So if you don't have all your resistances, that are like right next to your 75%, so your overmaxed resistances, which you can see down here, if they are not all equal, try to get lightning resistance for your highest one. But if you can get them all equal, so you get the damage reduction for each element as well the damage penetration, but we only need penetration for lightning, so focus on lightning resistance. Other than that, yeah, we're using a shield, which this is because we actually can afford to go for a shield instead of dual wielding. This increases our toughness by a lot. We get a lot of energy, or not a lot of energy shield, but we can get a lot of energy shield and life on there, as well as crit strike for our spells, so it's not that bad for our damage. But the main reason we are using it is because with the starter build, you usually want to clear at least Shaper, maybe even Uber Elder, and you need some kind of good survivability in there, and the shield is one of the easiest way to get good survivability. Other than that, just focus on getting your base stats to the requirements and go for life resistances everywhere. Jewels go for life and crit multi. Crit multi depending on the skill you're using. So we are using a lightning spell, and we are not dual wielding, so we can go for crit multi with elemental skills, crit multi with spells, crit multi with lightning skills. If you change over to dual wielding, you could also go for crit multi while dual wielding. But yeah, as I said, we are using a scepter and a shield. If you go for dual wielding, make sure that you are using scepters, otherwise you cannot use your smite. And smite is a huge damage buff. You can see it's like, yeah, 12% damage buff just from smite. Really good, really OP. I kind of like the smite playstyle. I've been playing it with my Stormbrand Inquisitor as well. And talking about the Stormbrand Inquisitor, you can pretty much swap these two dudes around. So if you play a Stormbrand first, you can put literally all the gear to your Lightning Trapper, except for the Tinker Skin. But yeah, so that's something really cool to note here. So if you don't like any of these builds, try out one of my other starter builds. And then there's like a weird, you can see it up here. In positives, I say expected buffs in 3.8, but I also say the same in negatives. This is because if something gets buffed or if something gets changed, everybody is going to pick it up, everybody wants to play it, everybody wants to try it. This means that we do not really know how much especially the Tinker Skin will cost early on into the league. Because if Trap is going to be like highly meta, like Cyclone was last league, Tinker Skin is going to be extremely expensive. So it is positive and negative, and all the rest of the gear probably increases in price as well if many people are playing that. So yeah, we don't know yet. If there are any big changes, and once 3.8 is out with the new skill tree and stuff like that, I'm going to update the PoE, which is down in the video description. But if you have any further questions, you can also leave them down there, not in the description, but in the comments, or come over to my stream, twitch.tv/play_like_J, just like my YouTube. And yeah, ask me any questions right there. I'm going to stream and probably going to play a Trapper, because Trapper is one of the 3 builds I'm thinking about starting the league with. And yeah, we will see. Definitely give me a follow, and thank you very much for watching. Check out my other 3.8 starter build guides and my build guide compilation, where I talk about all the build guides I've done. And see you later, I guess. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for learning with me. Holy shit, English is not easy tonight. Today, it's not nighttime yet. But thank you very much. See you. Bye bye.